Hi there, this is Samir. Welcome to Englify. I hope you are doing great. This video lesson is based on reduced relative clauses. So I'm not going to write a task one here. It's this video lesson, first of all, is dedicated to academic writing task one only. So if you are preparing for GT or anything else, please, this lesson is not for you. In today's lesson, I would like to cover one grammatical structure, that is how we can replace who, which, that. We can reduce the relative clause and we can just use the verb gerund form. Okay, this is a very good structure, very simple to understand, and I hope whatever sentences I will do with you, you will be able to get it. Let's begin. So first of all, guys, I'm going to show you an example here in this video. Try to understand that, then we will do the grammatical range as well. It is very important to understand that grammar, range, accuracy is very important marking criteria in your writing module. Okay, it carries two bands roughly. Yes, two bands. So make sure to reduce your grammatical errors. Okay, now in definitely task one and task two, I would suggest you to use more of grammatical range. All right, that will definitely increase your score. Whatever you are confident about, do use it. And if you are finding difficulty in terms of understanding something, don't use it. Keep it simple. Okay, guys, listen, those who require six bands only, okay, it's not a Herculean task for them, right? Rather than, like in my other videos, I always tell you, do not run after vocabulary. There are a plethora of institutes that force you do vocabulary. Your vocabulary is weak. You need to write some fancy words if you want to score good. No, there is nothing as such written anywhere. Okay, that has been actually being said by Cambridge, which is the sole thing to do the IELTS. Okay, you need to use only the moderate things, not fill up everything, because what happens normally, I've seen some students have a habit that I receive emails of paper checking and all that stuff. So students, when they come, sir, I have studied from this institute over there, it was being said that you have to use a lot of words. Like vocabulary is not words only, okay, it's the paraphrasing content. So there are a lot of things that have been misguided. So let's understand the key things. Vocabulary range basically means that you are not repeating the content. Okay, so you're paraphrasing it. Now it doesn't matter whether you're using jargons or you're using some simple form. It's okay. Okay, as long as you are writing, in a perfect manner with less grammatical any error. So this lesson is going to teach you that. Now in this, let's take an example. There were many students who, subordinate conjunction, pursued is your verb, past participle, studies in the USA. With USA, UK, we always put the, okay? Now I'm speaking the, not the, because you, it's a consonant sound. Over here, there were many students, comma, pursuing studies in the USA. This is the only thing that you need to change, where you are going to just cancel. You are not going to use who or which. Now, I'm telling you this only one or two sentences in an entire task you can write. Do not just write everywhere this thing. Even in task two, if you're writing an example, for example, survey conducted, blah, blah, blah. So you can use this as well, just reducing the relative clause, right? Now we will understand that. Okay, before we actually begin, let's read the other example too. So there were 400 students. Now these are plural now, students who studied in the UK. So we made up to there were 400 students, comma, studying in the UK. The sentence still mean the same. It's still in past tense because you are using the past auxiliary verb here. Cool is that? Now, before we actually continue with the other sentences, let's first of all understand what do we mean by reduced relative clauses anyway. So on your screen, I've just typed a couple of things, replacing who, which, and that. The gerund form, ing, is known as gerund. So gerund form is sometimes used to include additional information in a sentence in a reduced relative clause. Okay, what is reduced relative clause? We'll do in a minute. The gerund ing is the following example sentences in bolded, which I have written in bold letters, and the full relative clause is italicized. So you can see who is here. For example, the woman wearing a dress is sitting by the window. Now, normally we do write the sentence, the woman who is wearing a dress is sitting by the window. So we are just reducing the who is over here. Okay. Similarly, the next sentence, the pens sitting on the desk belong to the teacher. The sentence using, who, which, that. So the pens that are sitting on the desk belong to the teacher. Third example, the student sleeping at the back is clearly not paying attention in the class. The student who is sleeping at the back is clearly not paying attention in the class. So as you can see, we are just reducing the relative clauses. Now let's understand what are these. In academic writing, that's why I said use it, for writing purpose only. There are a couple of structures that need to be used for writing only. Like I have heard many people started using many a times, I have tried this. They're using it wrong. It's not freaking, first of all, many a times, it's many a time. I have explained in one of the other videos that I have created in that many an is a replacement for many people. So many plural, you replace plural with many a or an plus singular noun, many a person. Obviously, grammar says when you have a singular noun, verb become s or es we add with it, in present simple. So many a person believes. Okay, many a person is subscribed to a belief, right? So many a person holds a perception. These are the correct sentences. So use it carefully, knowing it completely and practicing it for sure. So in academic writing, relative clauses are often reduced for a more concise style. So you make the sentence short. This also creates a more sentence variety. When reducing the relative clause, it is necessary to delete the relative pronoun and either delete or change the verb. Here are some examples. Let's see. Gun control is a controversial issue. That is, okay, about personal rights. So we just remove the relative clause here. So in order to make a better sentence, gun control is a controversial issue about personal rights. Next, the steps that were followed were explained in the methods section, making it a passive sentence. So we come up, the steps followed were explained in the methods section. Next example, other researchers exploring the same topic have discovered similar solutions. So progressive verb tense we are just making, but it not using who are, right? So other researchers who are exploring the same topic have discovered similar solutions. So instead of who are, we just write, verb jar and with it. Participants available to meet in my office completed their interview there. Same next, some of the subjects, lived in urban areas with high crime rates. So some of the subjects lived in urban areas with high crime rates. Now, as you can see, have you obviously over here we had. So we have just replaced it with the changes, right? Implemented with the new curriculum revisions are outlined in the handout. So these are some of the sentences that we can make, using by reducing the relative. Now here, let's come back and try some of the sentences. So I'm going to type here for you. Now this sentence, there were 9,000 students who went to the USA. Now, as you all know that went is the second form of the verb of what? Go. So when we make gerund of, obviously gerund always comes with, the first form, the verb. So what becomes? Going. Let's make the sentence now here. So there were 9,000 students, okay, going to the USA. With USA, as you know, like we always put the, anyway. Okay, now the second sentence. Let's see, what's the second sentence says? Second sentence is telling us there were several people who selected the USA for studies. So as we can notice, who plus selected. Second form, obviously, with which, which, who, that. We put second form of the verb if the sentence is in, past tense. Why? Because who, which, that, they are connecting the second sentence to form one simple sentence. It's a complex sentence, right? So we just replace who with comma, and then the verb that is in past participle, we just make it gerund. So there were several people, comma, selecting the USA for IELTS, for work, for studies. That's your sentence for us. Right, I hope it is getting clear to all. It's not too difficult, is it? Once you start to write it, it will be clear. Now, go on, make the other one. There were a few adults who went to Australia. So there were a few adults, comma, going to Australia. The next sentence coming right away. So what is it? Now there were 80%. So there were 80% of the people. Now who studied? Let's get, there were 80% of the people studying for brightening their career. First of all, the sound of this C-A-R-E-E-R, it's always career. It's not carrier, because carrier is something, that is like it picks up cargoes, delivers it to another country and all by huge ships, right? Now the next, so there were 70%. There were 70% of children, so, comma, fall, right? Is the first form of fell. So falling prey to malaria, full stop. And the last one sentence is coming here. So there were around 80% of teenagers who pursued studies because of their parental pressure. So what you can say, there were around 80% of teenagers, comma, pursuing studies because of their parental pressure. I hope these one are all clear to you all. Right? For example, let's suppose you are given age group, 25 to 30, and you find in your bar or any representation maximum percentage of students, career 70%. So how we can write that sentence using this? So as you can see on your screen, so the age group, comma, now we can use, but let's say for the simple one first, the age group 25 to 30 had maximum proportion of students pursuing studies to brighten their career, accounting for 70%. Now accounting for, amounting to, comprising, constituting, to use with witness, reported, everything. I already covered in other video of it. Fetch it on my YouTube channel, right? If you haven't subscribed it yet, do it to get more updates. So this one is better way of writing, rather than in brackets all the time, because you have to use variety, guys. Let's face it. Okay, I wouldn't use that. Don't use brackets to write your particular figure. Like if you vary your structures, then obviously a better score. That's all. It's fruitful, isn't it? Now, second example, the age group 25 to 30 witnessed, reported, recorded, registered, anything you can use instead of had here, right? So maximum proportion of students, comma, pursuing studies for brightening their career, comma, 70%. Now, if you make a passive sentence, so it's easier. You just, change the object and subject. So maximum proportion of students pursuing studies for brightening their career was witnessed or reported, recorded. Because why are we having was? Sometimes this question also, erupts. Obviously, because you're talking about maximum proportion, it is. So sometimes this question was also been asked, like why do we use 70%? Like, I mean, we have a percentage here. Then why are we having was? Why not we are using were? Guys, in passive sentence, as you can see here, maximum proportion of students, pursuing studies for brightening their career. Was witnessed. Why are we having was here? Because we are talking about maximum proportion. We ain't talking about students. Okay, maximum proportion is your singular. So for singular, we are using obviously auxiliary verb in past tense, that is was, not were. Okay, this is the sole reason behind it. I hope these sentences are clear. Okay, review it again if you haven't understood, right? Because what I'm about to do is I'm going to give you a practice sentence after this. To another examples, it says those students who pursued studies for their career had maximum proportion in the age group 25-30 comprising 70%. So make like one sentence or two sentences using who, which also. Make other sentences using comma, verb, gerund. Okay, just show the variety. Those students pursuing studies for career made up maximum proportion in the age group 25-30 amounting to 70%. Remember, with amount we always use to, account we always use for. Okay, now this is the practice activity, guys. Do send me in the writing section, the comment section. Don't forget to write the sentences. Try to form it, and I'll definitely reply to them. If there is any correction, I'll certainly do that. So the sentences are for you. The age group 30 to 35, maximum percentage of students for interest. So pursuing studies for interest. So you can use the verb, pursuing studies for interest, 60%, pursuing studies for interest, 45%, okay, and then pursuing studies for career. Okay, so these three, try to form the sentences as we have learned in the past, right? Find out the verb, okay, and make the sentences right in the comment section. I hope you have understood the things. Any questions? You know what to do. Write it in the comment section or send me an email. There's a number also available. It's 95179300029. You can send a WhatsApp on it. Our batches have started. Okay, so morning batch of academic, anywhere if you are, starting from 10:30 onwards in the morning, finishing at 2 o'clock. So join the regular batch, learn more things, practice, because this is very easy to achieve for all. Thank you so much for your time. Have a lovely day ahead.